trade areas in the Nigerian maritime domain include Nigerian inland waters and lakes, Nigerian coastal waters, Nigerian territorial waters, Nigerian exclusive economic zone, islands, and any carriage in, under, or on Nigerian waters. Welcome to Nimasa this week. I'm Moyoluwa Olutayo. I'm glad you could join us again on another exciting episode of the program. Stay tuned.
Any vessel operating coastal voyage in Nigeria must mandatorily have on board the following: vessel logbook, vessel port of call, vessel particulars, which include registry certificates, safety equipment certificates such as safe manning certificates, builder's certificates, load line certificates, tonnage certificates, radio certificate, insurance certificates, classification certificates, passenger ship safety certificates, service certificates, cargo ship certificates, and waiver certificates or receipts. Vessel owners, captains, shipping agents, and members of the public are advised to note and comply.
Our first destination today is the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, where the Honorable Minister, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, in a landmark achievement, led stakeholders to agree on a minimum wage of 200,000 naira for workers in the Nigerian maritime industry. This agreement between the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria and shipping companies was facilitated by the Nigerian Shippers Council.
The Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, with the Shipping Companies and Agencies Clearing and Freight Forwarding Employers Association, have reached a historic agreement on minimum standards for the conditions of service for workers in the shipping industry. The agreement was signed in Lagos in the presence of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, and CEOs of major shipping companies in Nigeria. During the event, Oyetola praised the agreement as a major achievement and a testament to the government's dedication to safeguarding the rights and welfare of workers in the maritime sector.
It is a great delight for me to witness today this significant occasion of the signing of the agreement on minimum conditions of service for labor in the shipping industry in Nigeria. By establishing these minimum conditions of service, the federal government is doing several critical things. Enhancing workers' welfare. We guarantee that every worker in the shipping sector enjoys decent working conditions, fair remuneration, job security, and access to necessary welfare benefits.
Comrade Adewale Adeyanju, President General of MAWUN, hailed the agreement as a significant milestone in the union's long-standing efforts to eliminate unfair labor practices and enhance working conditions within the shipping subsector.
Victory, there is victory for us. I stand before you today, elated and honored to represent the Maritime Workers of Nigeria as we mark a significant milestone in our journey to upturn unfair labor practice and improve the working conditions in the shipping subsector of our economy. I was the one, through my national executive officers, that declared state of emergency in shipping. But today, I have turned it on, that there's now an improvement in the shipping industry.
For the Maritime Union, I want to thank the President, AMJON. I never knew that you can have leadership of a union that is so refined. I remember that when we were having those discussions, having those negotiations, I want to let you know that it was tough. It wasn't easy. It was a hard nut to crack. But I know that you have the firebrand man there who is very difficult to convince, but you have the president who is ready to move us forward. And that is why we are here.
Government recognizes that your contributions are invaluable, and it is our firm belief that the establishment of a minimum wage standard will not only uplift the livelihoods of the very dedicated staff, but also strengthen the foundation of the industry. This validation reflects our shared values of respect, dignity, and fairness, and we hope that it will foster peace and harmony in the industry and a more motivated and productive workforce.
The validation of the negotiated minimum standards for maritime workers marks a significant milestone in our collective pursuit of excellence and stability in the sector.
I want to say that it takes a person of the executive secretary to get the parties to reach an agreement over a number of matters that would have been difficult, if not impossible.
The signing of this agreement marks a turning point in the maritime industry, setting a precedent for fair labor practices and improved working conditions, while fostering a more collaborative and harmonious working environment in Nigeria's shipping sector.
I'm proud to be standing here today in this historic occasion where, between the employers and the employees, we have reached an agreement which not only will cater for today, but will cater for tomorrow, moving into the future.
Our workers are how we function here, and we must take care of them. So we are very glad to finally have this situation.
The Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Dayo Moberiola, has reaffirmed the agency's commitment to advancing fleet expansion and maritime development in the country. The DG said this at the Maritime Finance Conference in Lagos. Speaking on the theme of the conference, Vessel Acquisition and Construction, Nigerian Banks, Insurance Firms, Government, and the Blue Economy. Moberiola highlighted the critical role of shipping as an economic driver and emphasized the need for a renewed focus on vessel acquisition and construction. The Director, Administration and Human Resources of the agency, Mr. Isiche Osangbi, represented the DG at the event.
Nimasa is committed to fleet expansion. It's emphatic, and I want you to take note that the DG on a daily basis dreams maritime, dreams fleet expansion, dreams development of the blue economy. Nimasa has taken giant steps through deep blue projects for safety and security in the maritime domain. If our maritime domain is the safest in the world, people will come here. Cost of shipping will drop, and people will be determined to make progress.
On his part, the Managing Director, NLNG Shipping and Maritime Services Limited, Abdul Qadir Ahmed, also highlighted the role of government in attracting investment into the ship-owning business.
Shipping is a hugely capital-intensive activity, and accessing finance is key for acquisition and construction. To that end, owners and prospective players need to ensure a proper understanding of the dynamics that lead to success in the constantly evolving maritime sector and ensure compliance at all costs, as there are no shortcuts to compliance.
Other stakeholders at the event also stressed the importance of fostering collaboration between the financial sector, government, and industry players to facilitate investment in the ship acquisition industry.
The theme of this year's event, vessel acquisition, construction, Nigeria's banks, insurance firms, government, and the blue economy, was carefully chosen to capture the intent of the association, which is to bring the regulators, the investors, and the financiers and insurers on one table to find solution to this challenge, which is retarding the growth of the Nigerian maritime industry, which, of course, has hindered development and exploitation of Nigeria's blue economy resources.
The requirement under the Convention on Facilitation of International Maritime Traffic requires government to use a single digital platform, otherwise known as the Maritime Single Window, to share and exchange information with ships during port calls. This became mandatory in January this year. While speaking at a workshop in Lagos, the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Dayo Muberiola, called on stakeholders to embrace the Single Window Initiative for the maritime sector, adding that it will drive the economic agenda of the federal government. The DG's position was delivered by the agency's Director, Marine Environment Management, Mr. Hiki Dimowo.
Well, the National Single Window, it's a policy that the customs is thinking of implementing. And over time, over the years, we have always talked about having a single window. It will facilitate trade, make the borders easier to access for people who want to bring in capital and the like. So essentially, I think that's essentially it will help us grow trade, and by extension, it will grow the maritime opportunities in the sector.
Accordingly, he noted that implementing the single window will help plug revenue leakage, while also attracting more investors to the country, and by extension, increasing the gross domestic product of Nigeria.
The President, in his wisdom, has created a Ministry of Blue Economy. And that Ministry of Blue Economy is potent with several opportunities. And that's where the opportunities we are talking about come in. Because with a developed blue economy, we have vast potentials to exploit in Nigeria. Besides the fishery resources, you talk about the mineral resources and all whatnot. In fact, there's so much in the context of mineral resources that Nigeria is yet to exploit in our blue economy. And with a proper focus, which the Honorable Minister is working towards very strongly, Nigeria stands to, like I mentioned during the seminar, now we are going to exploit the next big thing to oil, and that is the blue economy.
Other stakeholders, particularly the Nigerian Customs Service, highlighted the challenges that may hinder the implementation of the single window in the maritime sector.
There have been discussions in the past and arguments on what should be the main role of Nigerian Customs Service in the 21st century. Should it be what we have here, revenue collection, or should it be anti-smuggling operation? We cannot underscore the importance of revenue generation in our custom administration.
The vision of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to create the ministry is a monumental step towards harnessing the vast untapped potentials of Nigeria's maritime sector. This decision is not only a demonstration of the President's deep understanding of the economic possibilities of the sector, but also a clear indication of his political will to ensure that Nigeria reclaims its rightful place as a key maritime player globally.
Let me use this opportunity to reiterate that we, in the Nigerian Shippers Council, will continue to promote and advocate for full digitalization of port process and operations in Nigerian ports.
there is no way you won't be having problem with the ship owners, sir, because of the CPFF. But there is one thing you're supposed to do, sir, or we are expecting you to do, sir. Just tell them the truth. The rightful owner of that fund. Who is the owner of the CPFF? Are they the owner? Or does the money belong to the government, sir?
Where is the CVFF? The CVFF, as of today, is with the federal government. And it is for our own use. It is for the use of the ship owners. It is not being touched. It is not a revenue. It is a contribution towards the development of the Nigerian shipping industry and ship owners.
Lastly, sir, I would like to know, sir, would you subscribe to National Fleet or encourage them to buy new vessels?
Ship flag. Whether we are going to have a Nigerian carrier or Nigerian flagged vessel. And I'm sure you would all agree with me, from the past experience, we shouldn't go the way of owning a Nigerian carrier that is being owned by the government. We should go the way of the agencies, the government, creating the enabling environment to encourage the private ship owners to have vessels which we can classify as Nigerian flagged vessels and be supported by Nigerians, by the Nigerian government, and also to be encouraged to carry Nigerian goods, both inwards and outwards. All of that is what we are working on. So the issue of having a Nigerian carrier is not going to happen. But we are going to have Nigerian flag, which can sail internationally to all the countries of the world. And you and I will be proud of it with our flag on top of it.
What is the fate of the Nimasa's floating dock? You are talking of the president wants to change the narrative of oil export. The floating dock will give Nigerians a lot of foreign exchange and work, jobs creation. What are you going to do to get it working?
We are going to put the modular floating dock to a very, very good use. That once is in use, it will be beneficial to the economy. It will be beneficial to the seafarers, and it will be beneficial to Nimasa itself. And we are working on it. As I mentioned earlier, we were on it last week, Thursday. So, in order for us to even understand and appreciate what exactly is a floating dock, this particular floating dock, we know what floating dock is. We need to place it in where it's appropriate. We've been around the ports. We went to continental shipyards. We've been there. It's just a matter of time. We will do it. We will do it. It's not going to be at where it is forever. Be rest assured.
Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
The creation of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy by the federal government has been described as a significant step in harnessing marine resources responsibly, with a focus on developing targeted policies to attract investors and grow the marine economy. The impact of new technologies, such as artificial intelligence and autonomous vessels, on the maritime sector and the need for lawyers to adapt to these changes was discussed. Dr. Dayo Mubiriola, Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, stated this during the Nigerian Bar Association conference held in Lagos. At the conference, he emphasized the importance of international maritime regulations, highlighting the role of the International Maritime Organization (IMO) and Nigeria's membership since 1962. The DG, who was represented by his Special Advisor on Technical, Mrs. Nneka Obianyo, also used the opportunity to disclose the agency's efforts to address piracy in Nigerian waters through the revision of maritime laws and improvement in maritime security, which has led to zero piracy incidents in Nigerian waters over the past 2 years.
So the issue of course, piracy has always been a challenge to us, and luckily we're trying as much as possible to make sure that we're no longer recognized as a piracy war zone. In 2019, that was when the Sponial Act was enacted, and then Nigeria has the integrated maritime surveillance structure, which is maritime architecture for security, and we've been able to use that to address piracy in our waters, and to our credit, in the last 2 years we've had zero piracy incidents in Nigerian waters.
The importance of developing Nigeria's maritime legal framework to unlock the full potential of the blue economy, driving economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social prosperity was also highlighted.
As also explained, we now have the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, and this Blue Economy Ministry, it's presently the primary mission is to ensure that our marine resources are harnessed responsibly and enriching the lives of our citizens while preserving the natural beauty of our coastal ecosystem. So the ministry is working hard to develop a robust policy that will drive the activities in the marine and blue economy.
This bill seeks to set up a regulatory agency with a primary function for economic regulatory authority for port services in Nigeria, replacing the Nigerian Shippers Council. It did not abolish some of the roles that Nigerian Shippers Council takes, like the roles of taking care of the interests of shippers and protecting those interests. In this bill, the interests of shippers will be protected even more.
The top 10 ship-owning nations globally by total assets are Japan, followed by China, Greece, and United States of America. Other countries include Singapore, South Korea, Norway, United Kingdom, Germany, and Hong Kong. Only China and America have more population and longer coastline than Nigeria on that list. Food for thought. Before we bring the program to a close, the entire Nimasa management team and staff wish our Director General, Dr. Dayo Mubiriola, a beautiful birthday celebration. Your strategic visionary leadership is inspiring and worthy of emulation. our package for today. And until next week when we meet again on the same platform and the same channel, I remain yours truly, Moyoluwa Olutayo. Bye for now.